There's no James Bond news this week, other than the fact that it's still canceled along with everything else in Hollywood.
Delayed.
Well, I mean, if the world doesn't end.
Well, for now, it's delayed.
So we are, I guess, just jumping right into the meat and potatoes of it. I must have been buzzed last night.
Why?
I have written here, before we go any further, though, we beg of you, the mighty viewer, please like and subscribe.
Probably more than buzzed.
Yeah, you were definitely drunk last night.
Our success depends on it. As the sun begins to set on Sean Connery's time as James Bond, it's only fitting that his adventures take him to the land of the rising sun.
You were getting a little artistic with it, huh?
Hell yeah. That's visual, baby.
Yeah.
You got to paint a word picture.
Yeah. So today we're doing You Only Live Once. God damn it.
That's just not the name of the movie.
You only live twice.
These are the last two, the original Sean Connerys.
And the worst of the series, would we say?
I would say yes.
Definitely Connery's worth showing, I think.
Released in 1967, the same year as The Graduate, The Jungle Book, and the first of many James Bond clones in Like Flint. It had a budget of $9.5 million with a gross of $111 million. It was actually written by Roald Dahl of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Nope, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Huh.
This is the first Bond movie not to earn more than the previous film.
Not surprising. We were watching it and I was like, this movie's garbage.
Between the diminishing returns on this film and Connery's growing disdain for the producers and pretty much everyone involved, the writing on the wall must have been pretty clear for his departure shortly thereafter.
I wonder what he was like to work with on set.
Probably not pleasant.
Yeah.
He's probably a fucking asshole. Probably slapping women left and right.
Let's get into it. What did you think the story was?
So Spectre's out here stealing spacecrafts so that they can start a war. Step 1, steal spacecraft. Step 2, start a war. Step 3, profit.
Right.
And then Bond's job is to make that not happen.
What is Bond's job?
International Man of Mystery.
No. I'm sorry.
In the film, what is his
goal?
He was told by M he's got to go to Japan after they faked his death.
For some reason?
Yeah. Well, I guess so he could move around a little bit more. Bippity bop.
He didn't seem to have any trouble before, though. That does point out the fact, though, that his name is actually James Bond.
Oh, yeah, and this is, I think, the first movie where you see him in dress blues and you hear his military rank.
Yeah, I believe so. All right, so Bond's mission is to gain intel or stop Spectre.
Gain intel, yeah.
As per usual.
I feel like it's a loaded, what do you think the story was, or what's the mission question is loaded, because when is it never going to be get intel, stop Spectre?
Yeah, it's going to boil down pretty quick.
It's always going to be get intel, stop Blofeld / Spectre.
The action sequences in You Only Live Twice were very good.
Yeah, they were okay. I mean, they were a little, I don't know.
Drawn out, maybe?
Because we watched both of these movies in succession. I can't recall.
Yeah, they blend when you do it that way.
It's like you threw paint on the wall and just went, swiped your hand through it.
This is the one where he's turning Japanese.
I know that.
I really think so.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the spacecraft one. He's sent to Japan because the spacecraft that stole the other spacecraft landed or went down around Japan, so they sent him out there.
What'd you think of Blofeld's volcano lair?
Pretty dope.
Pretty dope. I like that a lot.
Gigantic volcano layer.
Yeah,
like Dr. Evil says it.
This is very, as much as like Goldfinger was Austin Powers parody material, I felt like this one's probably more Austin Powers parody material. With the volcano layer, it's Blofeld, who only shows up 20 minutes like to the end of the film. You only see his face in the last.
You need him. Before that.
Yeah, I was wondering
It was
when.
about Bond getting close.
If maybe they jumped the gun on that. They jumped the shark on showing you what he looked like in that movie. Since they just recasted him anyway.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, because that was a good Blofeld. In the brief time that you saw him, what'd you think of him?
Blofeld in this one was the one with the weird eye.
Weird eye, and he pet a cat like
the
a man.
fucking cat.
He pet a cat like
we gotta
a man
talk
who's
about the cat.
never touched a cat before in his life.
What the fuck? How are you petting the cat? Are they having him pet the cat like that since he's supposed to have a weird fucking claw hand? Like the guy from Scary Movie?
He touches it
strong hand.
Like a man who's never touched a cat before.
Also want to point out that the cat flips the fuck out when the wall gets blown in.
Yeah.
What is you told me last night you had a trivia for that.
I have some trivia on Donald Pleasance's ideas for Blofeld's appearance. Originally, they were going to include a hump, a limp, a beard, and a lame hand. This guy was going to be fucked.
Why was he so fucked up?
I don't know.
Did he have a unfortunate smelting accident?
I don't know.
I'm sure there's some deep backstory.
Jan Wersch was originally cast as Blofeld, but after his screen test, producers felt that he was a poor choice and that he resembled a poor, benevolent Father Christmas. I don't know who Jan Wersch is, but I thought that was a good piece of trivia. I have here written the ninjas were very loud. When they go to that ninja training. All right, well, before...
How close did Bond get? Bond got in undetected, and ninjas got shot up in the volcano. How did the ninjas get caught and Bond didn't?
Because the ninjas' plan of attack... All right, before we talk about the ninjas, Bond, for some reason, had to turn Japanese.
I really think so.
You really think that was necessary?
No, I was just quoting the song.
Oh.
It was absolutely not necessary.
None.
And at the end of the day, all they really did was comb his hair forward.
And dye it more black. So he had to turn Japanese and he had to get married. For what reason? Because when they go to that place, that town outside of the volcano.
The little fishing village?
The little fishing village.
Yes.
Even his fake bride is like, we're going to sleep in separate beds. So
What's our honeymoon? Well, I'm not going to need these.
Well, I won't need these.
If you're not going to pretend to be married, what's the point in getting married and dyeing your hair and combing it forward? I think something was up with his eyes, too. I think he definitely had squinty eyes.
They showed like a cosmetic surgery type thing where they're like putting, what do you call that?
Skin flaps over his eyelids.
Yeah, to like make it look like they closed it or opened differently.
Why wouldn't you just keep your eyes closed?
Why not just not pretend to be Japanese? Because you're clearly a 6'11" giant Scotsman.
You just don't look Japanese.
You got body hair. They must have flipped out when they saw his chest hair.
Ancient Japanese proverb, a bird never nests in a bare tree.
So then he goes to the ninja training facility where I guess in order to become a ninja, your main form of attack is running forward, yelling loudly. They are the loudest fucking ninjas I have ever heard.
They're good with swords, though.
Yeah.
You know what else are good with swords?
Samurais.
Thank you. Not ninjas who wear fucking jammies and yell loudly. And then they fucking use guns. Ninjas don't use guns.
Cool.
Modern ninjas.
No. If I want to say, no.
There is a ninja that uses swords in the volcano.
Yeah, they had swords down there.
Did they?
Yes, they did. I remember specifically watching it and being like, that guy has a sword. Cool.
So you brought up a good point. Bond infiltrated the entire complex unnoticed. And then the ninjas, which was a good bit, where they like pop up out of the ground.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
There's so many of them. That's probably why. Maybe there's like a sensor.
He said specifically, the Bond's contact, the guy that runs the ninja camp, he said specifically that there were 100 ninjas. And I watched at least like 300 ninjas die.
That's the body count.
It's an amazing amount of death. That's a tragedy. Like, that's a lot of lives lost.
And I've noticed the trend. A lot of Bond women die.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
A lot of them. At least one or two throughout the films that we've been watching.
We have another film to add to our chart, too, because this film ends with a sex scene on a boat.
Jesus.
I know.
Ian Fleming has some like real specific tastes.
Or
Pussy galore, man.
Or fucking
Pussy Galore was in a jungle.
that was the one that doesn't end on a boat. Is there anything else that we want to talk about for You Only Live Twice? Knowing that we're moving on to Diamonds Are Forever.
This one, I mean, I don't want to be a curmudgeon about these movies.
Be a
but
curmudgeon. You can be a curmudgeon.
This one is worse than the other one, and neither of them are very good.
I know.
Diamonds Are Forever is actually a little bit worse still than You Only Live Twice.
This is the worst critically received Bond film.
So far.
To
So
time of
far.
release.
Yeah, this one was met to mixed to negative reviews.
This was 1971. It did have that 70s vibe. You can,
Definitely.
You can see it, you
Yeah.
can hear it.
And the, especially in the opening credits.
This was released, just for reference, the same year as Shaft, Clockwork Orange, and Dirty Harry.
This one did not hold up as well as some of those other movies that came out the same year.
When you compare it to Dirty Harry, it definitely does not. This is a budget of $7.2 million and made $116 million at the box office. Bond is back, and he's older than ever.
Yes,
He
is.
definitely looked older.
Yeah, very visibly.
Older
Aged.
and out of shape. He's very fat.
Not fat. No.
Yeah, he's probably in very good shape for
Well,
a man
pudgy,
of his
though.
age. Well, he's a man of his age.
Actually, he doesn't give a fuck about the movies anymore. So he was like, I'm going to eat this donut and drink my bourbon.
Before they got Sean Connery back for this film, they considered several other actors, including Michael Gambon, who you might know as Professor Dumbledore. He was a young man at some point, so they considered him.
Most old men were.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
They also considered Burt Reynolds
That would have been interesting.
and Adam West.
Burt Reynolds before Adam West, for sure.
No, I'm going Adam West all the way.
In order to get Sean Connery back, the studio basically told the producers money is not an object. Offer him whatever salary he wants. $1.25 million in 1971 dollars.
That's a lot of dollars.
That is the equivalent today of almost $8 million. That is a pretty good sale. I mean, it's not like Robert Downey Jr. level for Avengers or anything like that, but I mean, it's a significant
That's a
amount
lot
of
of
money.
money.
Yeah.
What was the full budget for this one?
The budget was $7.2 million. So the budget on this one was less than You Only Live Twice. It actually ended up making more money.
The sets were dope in this movie too, where he has sex with
Oh,
bed.
man, the fish tank bed.
That was pretty nice.
That was
I love
awesome.
that. I didn't even ask, what did you think the story was?
So Blofeld is, well, somebody, we'll say somebody, turns out it's Blofeld, is stealing diamonds to build a space laser to blow up cities to hold the world hostage.
And initially, I thought it was just M mentions that we just want you to do this simple thing. We need you to get these diamonds that are being smuggled to get them back in our possession so these fucking whoever the fucks don't have them.
I thought the idea was they suspected somebody was hoarding diamonds and they were going to send them all out at once to crash the diamond market. But it had nothing to do with that because Blofeld's a fucking weirdo with a space laser.
Let's put it on a space laser.
What did you think of the opening of the film? Did you realize it was Blofeld? Because I did not realize what was going on.
Nope. Only until he said it.
It was clear to me that he was the antagonist. I did not realize it was Blofeld.
Watching this, it's clear that there is one in between because they make a big deal about him being Sean Connery again.
Did they?
Kind of. I mean, not like a huge deal. So the pre-credit scene is he's going person by person, punching people in the face to find Blofeld. And he finally finds Blofeld, and he's at a plastic surgery facility, which specializes in plastic surgery through the use of super hot mud. So,
Is that what that was?
Yep. So
It looked
I
like baby shit.
it
I
does.
didn't
Yeah.
realize the significance of the mud, but there were people buried in mud for some reason.
Yes.
So in order to be turned into Blofeld, you have to be submerged into a thing of mud, which has the consistency of sick or
Mud tub.
or dire. It's a mud tub.
Ew,
your
it sounds so
It's your
disgusting.
classic mud tub. You get into the mud tub and you emerge a beautiful Blofeld. It's like a cocoon in many ways. In addition to having the mud tub, there's also just boiling mud in the corner of this room where a Blofeld is put. Bond kills two Blofelds in the beginning of the movie, and neither Blofeld is
No.
the original Blofeld.
He kills one. He killed a guy that was going to be a Blofeld double.
Oh, okay.
He had-
okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Initially, I thought that was supposed to be a transformation of him into James Bond. That's what I thought was happening.
Well, Spectre already has scary, accurate James Bond masks from Russia with Love.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of-
Frighteningly accurate James Bond mask. They should use that. Yeah, so that's how Diamonds Are Forever begins. And then it moves on to bald mullet man and guy who looks like his mom cuts his hair. What'd you think of those guys as henchmen?
I liked them.
I hated him.
They were well cast. They were well written. They were well directed. You're supposed to hate them.
That's why I hated him.
They did a good job of making them hateable, and therefore I liked them.
That's it. If that was their job, then they did a really good job. But
Hate the game, not the player.
no, even if I feel like if I saw them in real life, I'd be like, I don't trust that guy.
Well, that's the whole idea.
I know
So
they succeeded in me not wanting to like them.
they were just wildly unpleasant.
Yeah.
Were they a couple?
I
Yes.
guess.
I have written down here if they were gay, because the mustache one makes a comment. What's her face is
She's quite beautiful.
She's quite
for a
beautiful.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both aboard. I must say, Miss Kay seems quite attractive. For a lady.
And then the guy
Little
next to him
awkward
is
laugh.
like, "Well, excuse you."
Yeah, fuck you talking about, bud?
Oh.
They also, at one point, the misters, let's call them, they walk away holding hands, but like at full arm's reach away from each other
And it's
almost.
In
an
the beginning of the
awkward
movie, yeah.
handhold. It's like one of them is holding the
one's
other
fingers.
person's four fingers.
The mustache was good.
No, it was all bad. It was all bad.
What? How was he supposed to do his hair?
Not like that. Shave your head. If you have the choice between either a bald mullet or a shaved head,
His hair was worse than a bald mullet because he had the thing where
you got
the patch on the top of
friar
the forehead.
tuck thing too going on.
Yeah.
Like it just circles his head like curtains.
And then a patch on top.
It is unpleasant.
How about that fight scene between Bond and the two gymnasts?
I liked that. Thumper and Bambi.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
What did you see Thumper charge up?
Yes.
I was real
For a good,
confused.
Like
like
a
2
weird-
seconds.
Super Saiyan cat.
I didn't know what was happening. It just kept cutting to him being choked by thighs and her like about to.
Like snake charming or something.
Yeah, I was like, what is she?
She kept, her hands were doing weird shit. Like she was ready to cast a spell.
I legitimately thought he was about to drown them. I was
Yeah, at the end of the fight.
I was waiting for the point for the splashing to stop.
He probably would have drowned them had Felix not come up.
The original script or the original plot for this had the actor that played Goldfinger returning as Goldfinger's twin brother, and it was originally going to be a revenge plot.
Wow.
I don't know how you get to diamond smuggling, but
Yeah, it sounds like they diverge a lot from the novels if that was a possibility.
I know.
That switch out the tape job where he actually switches it. For a second, I thought it was going to be the same thing as Goldfinger, where he fucked a henchwoman and like turns her, and then she saves the day. So like by extension, he accidentally does. It was so close to being that
It
again.
really was. Yeah, I hadn't realized that, but you're right. It was almost the exact same thing. Gadgets. What do we got?
For gadgets,
What do we have for gadgets?
what do we have for gadgets?
The voice changing machine. Technically, I guess the plastic surgery.
I'm talking specifically Q Division gadgets.
He had a pocket trap that when he was searched,
I
snapped on
loved
somebody's hand.
that. That was great.
That was pretty nice.
Classic.
That was awesome.
I was like, mousetrap.
He had a fake fingerprint to
Yep.
legitimize his cover as whoever the fuck he was undercover
Peter
as.
Franks.
He is so mean to Q.
Yeah.
He's so mean to Q. He's alive because of Q.
He's like a jock towards a
nerd.
nerd.
But he's just so mean. He's like, oh, your fucking thing works. Surprisingly, it works.
He's
Q.
like, try not to destroy my shit. And he's like, yeah, all right, fuck
what
you.
the fuck you? Like, you motherfucker. You know, remember that bit where Q was in the casino with the RPM altar or whatever he had? It
Oh,
looked like
yeah.
a decoder ring.
He puts both of his hands on the side and
He's just
pulls the penny slots down.
bar all across the slot machines, and he's just winning every single one.
And leaving the money in there.
Is he leaving the money, or is he going to keep the money? I think he's going to keep the money.
He keeps going. He just keeps going though. Like he doesn't have a bucket.
Yeah.
I feel like he's trying to be more honest and being like, I've been wanting to try this out, but I'm not trying to rig the system.
That scene is followed shortly by Blofeld and Drag.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or
that
the
was weird.
second or third time we've seen a male in drag in the series.
Oh, yeah. That was weird. I mean, he's decked out, too. He's got makeup on and everything. He could have just worn sunglasses. Anything else about the final James Bond Sean Connery movie?
You had mentioned that the scene where he is put into a casket.
The final scene that Sean Connery ever filmed as James Bond.
Never say never again.
I know. How about this? The final scene that Sean Connery ever filmed in an Eon-produced James Bond film.
I'll take it.
And
Thank you.
intended to probably film.
Yeah, is him in a coffin with the lid to the casket closing.
Fitting.
It is, yeah. That was the last scene that they filmed, and that was the last scene he ever intended to film as James Bond. So anyway, that's all we have on the last two official Sean Connery James Bond movies.
Well, the other one's official. It's just not Eon.
Okay, okay. Jesus Christ. Final two Eon Sean Connery James Bond movies. Is that enough quantifiers for you, Chris?
It is. I'm happy now.
All right, thank you.
Is that the episode?
You want to tell them where they can find us?
They can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
And don't forget to give us a like, subscribe if you like what we got. We'll be going through all of the Bonds, anticipating the release of No Time to Die in November.
And check us out on SoundCloud, Spotify, Overcast, wherever good podcasts are found. And we'll see you in the next video.